Here we go again. It's time for round two, everybody. YouTube cracking down on hate speech. We've seen this before. And actually, to be crystal clear, it's never really gone away. I touched on that briefly recently, but you're going to get some more information on it right now. So this is from The Hill. YouTube is implementing a new feature it says will help curb hate speech on its platform. The company is targeting videos that contain controversial religious or supremacist content. Controversial. Okay. But which do not violate its terms of service. Instead of taking down the videos in question, YouTube will put them in a stripped-down digital purgatory where they will no longer be easily discoverable, nor have the features normal videos do. Users viewing the videos will be greeted with a message warning them that they are about to see offensive content. The videos also will not appear in sections where YouTube recommends content to users. Key features like leaving comments, likes, or seeing suggested videos will not be available. The videos also will not be monetized. Google, which owns YouTube, declined to comment on the record about the changes. In June, the company vowed it will be taking a tougher stance on videos that do not clearly violate its policies. Let me repeat that. The company vowed it will be taking a tougher stance on videos that do not clearly violate its policies. These videos will have less engagement and be harder to find, Google's general counsel Kent Walker said at the time. We think this strikes the right balance between free expression and access to information without promoting extremely offensive viewpoints. Increasingly, videos on YouTube are testing the company's line between problematic speech and speech that clearly violates its standards. More videos deride certain groups but fall short of calling for violence. The alt-right and white supremacists have also turned to the platform to spread their views. The company was criticized earlier in the year for profiting off ads next to videos with hate content, such as those from white supremacists and Islamic State in Iraq and Syria sympathizers. In March, major companies like Verizon and Johnson & Johnson pulled their ads from YouTube temporarily. YouTube and Google, in response, announced they would take more aggressive action against hateful and offensive content, including better detection of such videos. YouTube says it will notify users whose content will be affected on Thursday. The Google subsidiary stressed that Thursday was a starting point and that more videos will be targeted on a rolling basis as content is flagged and reviewed. The company also noted the process requires human review and acknowledged that there may occasionally be incorrect assessments of what is offensive. Accordingly, users who feel like their content has been incorrectly marked as offensive can seek an appeal. YouTube's move is the latest step internet companies are taking to reduce hate speech and the presence of white supremacists on their platform in the wake of deadly violence in Charlottesville. Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, GoDaddy, Google, and others announced that they would remove white supremacist content from their site. Okay. Yeah. I don't trust them. You shouldn't trust them either. They're going to use a hatchet when they should be using a scalpel, and they've already done that. They've already done that. So for those of you who weren't following closely the events a few months back, there was something that we're calling YouTube-pocalypse, which was, to sum it up as quickly as possible, there were some ads that managed to slip through and get on genuine, like, ISIS content and Nazi content. And it was like mainstream ads like Kraft. And so somebody took note of that and wrote an article on it and basically made it out to be this gigantic systemic problem on YouTube, which it was not. See, what happens is, the way YouTube works, if it's a hateful video, but there's nothing in the title or the tags that would indicate it being a hateful video, then how is YouTube supposed to know with, like, what, millions of content, of hours of content uploaded every day? How are they supposed to know something is hateful if something in the title, for example, is about loving puppies and rainbows, and the tags are all about puppies and rainbows, And then, you click on the video and it's some white supremacist shit. How are they supposed to know that, oh, this is bad? So what happens is everything works on an algorithm, and you would have some ads slip through on some hateful content. It was maybe a problem in 0.00001% of cases, but it is not a systemic problem. Well, in step the dumbass corporate media to blow it out of proportion and act like it's a systemic problem, so YouTube immediately starts swinging at the kneecaps of its creators. Virtually the entire news and politics division was defunded overnight. So there were days where I had 600,000 views and I made no money at all. So there was a time when Secular Talk was on a legit blacklist, where we were generating more views than mainstream media, more views than CNN in the middle of the day, and we got nothing. Now, after a while, we were taken off of the blacklist, but we're still in this weird gray area where we don't get, the premium ads. We get like shittier ads, and we don't get as many of them placed. Now, also, same thing happened with many other news and politics channels. Our content is no longer treated like any other content would be. It's in this zone, this area, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the right terminology, as you can tell, where it's not promoted as much. Doesn't show up as much in the recommended videos. It's buried more. So there's prioritizing of what content gets to the top. And it used to be the case that if you get a lot of views, and if your metadata is right, which is like the title and tags on the video, well, then it's going to be out there a lot. Your content's going to be out there a lot. Well, now we're not prioritized no matter how good our metadata is, no matter how many views we get, no matter how good the content is. Because YouTube is fundamentally incapable from distinguishing content that outright promotes Nazism or ISIS from content that is a news show that just covers Nazism and ISIS. So you guys know this because you watch the show. You see all the time we're covering these things because they're in the fucking news. So we've tried to come up with ways, myself and other YouTubers, okay, we got to try to skirt the algorithm. How do we skirt the algorithm? I don't know, use some weird kind of lettering with symbols over it and stuff to try to find a way to trick the demonetization bot and get the monetization while still discussing the serious issues. And sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't work. Even when it works and we get ads, we get shittier ads that don't pay as well. So we've been in this shitty spot, myself and many other YouTubers that I know who do what I do or something similar to what I do. And it's really been a troubling time because we've had to rely on you. I mean, we've gone directly to the audience and crowdfunded, basically, and said, don't let them effectively censor us. Now, the people who are hit the worst are the up-and-comers. Because if people aren't already established enough to the point where they can plead to the audience, it's fucking rough out there, man. If you cover news and politics. Because just by nature of what you do, so much of the content you discuss is going to be on foreign policy, it's going to be on Israel, it's going to be on Saudi Arabia, it's going to be on ISIS, it's going to be on white supremacists, it's going to be all these things that YouTube just has a block and says, nope, not prioritizing that, not funding that, walking on eggshells here. And now they're doing round 2. So it's already bad. It never fully rebounded, not even close. And now what they're doing is they're going round 2. And again, you heard the article. Everything hinges on the definition of the words. So we're cracking down on hate speech. Well, what exactly constitutes hate speech? I hate religion. I rant against religion. Does that count? I hate the establishment. I rant against the establishment. Does that count? I hate out-of-touch politicians. I rant against them. Does that count? You know, you can go on and on. I use foul language. Yes, in YouTube's prioritization of what gets demonetized, it says, you know, they have the ability to demonetize anything with foul language. Whoa. So it really is cracking down on the whole news and politics division and all your favorite independent YouTube creators. And as I mentioned previously, isn't that mighty fucking convenient? Because at a time when we started to eclipse mainstream media in terms of numbers, YouTube, all of a sudden they jack the funding from news and politics on YouTube, and then they redirect it to YouTube TV to go right back to the people who we just defeated when it comes to views. So you have old school TV getting replaced by YouTube and new media. And then all of a sudden, wow, look at that. Defunding of news and politics on YouTube, and they funnel the money right back to the same people who we just beat when it comes to views in the form of YouTube TV. Now you give it right back to CBS, ABC, Fox, and the rest of them who we were starting to beat the pants off of. So, how mighty fucking convenient. Independent channels. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean there's no actual hateful content out there. Of course there is. And that doesn't mean there aren't odious opinions out there. Of course there are. But I mean, if you have some odious opinions, but it's not legit Nazism or ISIS, I don't know why that should be defunded. So what, if people disagree with me, they should defund them? No. If it's legit, like, terrorist shit, of course, the brands have every right to say, I don't want to be associated with that. But again, YouTube is not intelligent enough to distinguish, the algorithm is not intelligent enough to distinguish between genuinely hateful content and just discussing the broad topic, or even just disagreeing with hateful shit. So people are getting destroyed, man. Right wing on YouTube, left wing on YouTube, centrist, whatever the fuck you want to call it. If you do news and politics and you discuss serious issues, you're getting destroyed. So if you're a fan of myself, if you're a fan of Jimmy Dore, if you're a fan of David Pakman, if you're a fan of Humanist Report, if you're a fan of, you fill in the blank with your favorite YouTuber, political, or even not just explicitly political, and branches out into other controversial topics, Amazing Atheist, whoever, you name it. If you're a fan of them, they need your support now more than ever. So for us, it's youtube.com, or excuse me, it's patreon.com/seculartalk. If you could do $2 a month, that's enough right there to just save us. I mean, we have enough people listening to the show where if enough of you give $2 a month, which is just basically like buying me a cup of coffee every month, then we're beyond okay, and we more than make up for the lack of funding through the traditional route of ads via views. So, as long as they don't take the channel down, okay, which they're not doing that, but they are kind of burying the content, demonetizing the content, shoving it off in the corner, wrongly saying, hey, this is offensive, or this is hateful, or this is this, or this is that. But as long as they don't just take us down, they can't defeat us. Because I know you guys will pull through, you guys will prop the show up, and the power of our ideas in the long run will win, because we're already beating the ancient, old school losers in old media.